Oh, let's hope these microphones work, right?
Somehow I look as big as you,
I'm just
Martin.
saying. I love it.
Welcome to the Joker's Doubling Down podcast. Hopefully, I don't. Jesus.
He ain't helping you.
No.
We're doing this on his fucking resurrection day. He ain't helping you.
You're on your own, fool.
Hopefully, funny informational podcast by casino dealers. My name is Jake.
Martin.
Jack.
All right. And this first episode, we are going to talk about your first day going into the casino and what to expect. And, all right, guys. You ready?
Sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's talk about, before we even go, what should we do to prepare for the first day going to the casino?
Get cash.
Make sure you valid ID as well.
Absolutely. Always go to casino with cash. Don't go to ATMs at the casino. Otherwise, you're going to be spending a lot more money than you probably would like to.
Yes.
And that way, it also helps you set a limit when you're going to casinos. That way, you're not spending more than what your bankroll, than what you want to at any given day.
Yeah.
You're supposed to go for entertainment, it's for fun, not to, spend your whole life savings or whatnot. And, want to keep on keeping the lights on at home, paying for your kids' food and clothes. You don't want to spend more money than you want.
Absolutely. Yeah, I always take exactly what I'm comfortable losing, what I'm not going to be upset with if I happen to not walk out with that money or any of that money left. So, and of course, you do want to avoid those fees. Our fees are, what, $5, $7?
I think they're $7, yeah.
Actually, yeah, at least.
I've seen up to 10.
Yeah.
So just to get money, get your money before you go. And like they said, make sure you bring your ID.
Yes.
Always bring your ID.
You don't want to get turned over at the door.
Yeah.
Can't even walk into the casino.
Yeah. Some casinos ID right at the door, everybody. Yeah. So you want.
They're supposed to.
Yeah.
Yes, most casinos.
And those casinos that aren't doing your job, we're looking at you. We know who you are. We're coming in.
Well, not all casinos do ID. If you're in Las Vegas, that's a whole different story. But other casinos outside of Vegas, yes, most of them will be. You will have to show your ID. So always make sure you have that. Otherwise, your ass got to go back home. You don't want that.
No.
Or God forbid you win a giant jackpot and they don't give it to you because you don't have your ID. That's the worst. Yeah. Not that I've never hit a jackpot a day in my life, but I would imagine that is the worst.
Also, if you have if you're in a town with more than one casino, make sure you go to the right one that's in your price range, has the games you want to play, that kind of thing. They have that information on the website usually, or you can call ahead. So,
and God forbid they don't have your game open. Don't take it out on the dealers. They have no control over what games are open and what games aren't. That's above their pay grade, right?
That's true. Yeah. It is. All right, so we got to the casino, in the door, got all the lights and noise coming at you. What do you do first?
Go to the rewards desk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
You need to go get your rewards card because they're going to give you benefits, and you also usually will get free play of some kind, either slot play and or just informational as far as like what is available to you. And that way you also get mailers in the mail then too for upcoming events that they'll have at the casino. And also you start accumulating points with your rewards card when you use it at any slot machine and or table games. You collect those points, you rack those points up, you will get free play and you will get free benefits as well.
Yeah. Yeah, in my experience, if you go to the rewards desk, then the people there, they know that's all they do is just rewards. So if you don't want to be mailed or emailed by the casino, you can tell them that. They can take you off those lists. So if you're worried about, getting mail at home for any reason, you can tell them to take it off the mailing list if they even have one. Some casinos don't even have one anymore. And then take your card that they give you and swipe into the kiosk, because usually at the kiosk they have some free stuff for you for checking in at the kiosk. They'll give you some other information about what's going on that day, if there's any promotions or drawings or all sorts of stuff. So
now you go to the casino fairly frequent, right? About once a month, maybe more.
no.
You don't? I thought you did.
No.
I'd say on average, yes.
Yeah.
That'd be me.
Now, how would you say rewards work for you going, say, once a month? Say you go once a month. An average.
It just depends, because I go to multiple casinos.
Right.
On average, I mean, I don't go to the same casino every time, but I usually get mailers, and also depending on, you also give them your email. They'll also email you the information as well, as far as upcoming events and different kind of, well, it always updates me of my points I have.
Now, do you get a lot of free play if, like, say you stop going to a certain house for a chunk of time? Like, say you go to Casino A a couple times a month and then you stop going for like 9 months. Are they the type of casino to send you? Because I've heard stories. I'm not a big casino gambler. I'm there every day with work, but
it just really depends on your plan, how much you spend basically at the table, how long you're there for.
Right.
Also, as well, I mean, I might go for this for a little bit. I might go a couple times a month, but if I'm only there for a half hour or an hour, I'm not racking up that many points to keep my play. And
now,
so
see, I go to one casino maybe every year. I get a lot of free stuff just being the first time I go someplace because they want me to be a return. So if you're like me, you only want to go to a casino every once in a while just for that little bit of fun. It's really important that you get that rewards card, because you get that right off the bat front money. Now, if you're, I'm not going to say you're a career gambler. We definitely know more people. We work with more people who go way more than you. But if you go, say you go once a week, it might not be as beneficial, or might be more beneficial. I'm not sure. That's why I was kind of seeing what you guys thought.
As far as the amount of stuff you get, it's definitely going to be based on, you know, which games you play and obviously how much
you play
for. But we can kind of get into that a little bit later. But just signing up for rewards, definitely, and then being active with checking in the kiosks and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Also, you might get some bonus rewards by using their app as well. I know at our house, we have multipliers and other promotions that are app only, and then some of that are the kiosks. So you got to maximize that, you got to be active and all those things. So, yeah. All right. So you got your rewards card. Got to find a game to play. How do we look for? How do we even just find the game? Maybe we have a game in mind we want to find. How do we do that?
Well, I would determine what you feel comfortable playing a hand, first off. So if you're looking for a low limit game, you know, a lot of houses are going away from the $5 tables. I know our house, we have that 5+5 where you're still doing a $10 minimum, but you only have to do 5 on a certain bet.
2 bets, $5 each. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hence the 5+5.
Right.
So if you're looking for a low limit, you know, you try to find that table that says that, or if you're looking to make your big money quick, you want to go that high limit game, you know, look for a $50 table and up.
Sure.
Which is typically, you know, in a high limit area. Typically not at the end of a pit that regular limit games are on.
Sure.
Typically.
So each game is going to have a sign on the table that's going to tell you what the game is. That's really what I was kind of going for here, guys. They're going to have usually...
I'm just making it more conversational.
Yeah. They'll have a sign on the table. It'll tell you which game it is and the min and max of that game. So that's the best place to look. It also will say on the actual table surface itself usually.
Sometimes it's hard to see that, though. If there's a lot of players at the table, you can't see because cards and chips are blocking various things. So, yeah. Those Little screens on the side of the table help.
And also, screens will also tell you what kind of game it is, because we see a lot of people that think every game is blackjack.
Yeah, every single game.
And they come to a 3-card poker table like,
what kind of blackjack is this?
Well, this isn't blackjack. Well, just look at the screen, guys. There's always a screen at every table. It's going to tell you what game it is, and then also the minimum and maximum limits per table.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing to look for when you're looking for a game is look for the right table, look for the right game. I mean, and like we were talking about, as far as like blackjack, for instance, we'll get into that. Most tables, if they do have $5 or $10 low limit tables, those are going to pay 6 to 5 for any blackjack, as opposed to 3 to 2. Which, depending on how avid of a gambler you are, you know that blackjack usually pays 3 to 2. So
which is time and a half for layman's terms.
But you're gonna find that on higher limits. Usually, outside of Vegas, you're gonna find those at any table. It's usually $25 or more minimum. But the other games can be as low as sometimes $5 a bet, depending on the casino, and also what time of day, and also how many people are in the casino, because the casino usually translates the population of the people that are in the casino and at the table games with how much they're going to put their limits at, the minimum limits. I mean, if it starts getting busier and busier, I can pretty much guarantee you those limits will go up.
Yeah, especially on the weekend.
Because, casinos got to keep the lights on somehow, right?
Yeah, so...
yeah, because the games are designed for the casino to lose. Remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, so the best time to go... especially if you're not looking to spend too much, it's probably not going to be Friday, Saturday night. Maybe earlier in the day or on a Sunday.
Typically, when I go, I'll go in the mornings, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Those days, you're going to find lower limits, and you're going to find a lot less people and less crowded, to where you're going to have more one-on-one time with your dealer if you have any questions or just want to know information about things. You're going to have more of an opportunity to talk to the dealers and or the supervisors and or the rewards, as far even the rewards counter, there will be less of a line, if not a line at all. You know what I mean? Whereas you try to do it on a Friday or Saturday night, you might be waiting a little while because there's definitely going to be a lot more people there.
Yeah, so if you do want to go on a weekend, I would say the best weekend day would be Sunday. Yeah. Or maybe early Saturday. Yeah. Very early Saturday.
Yeah.
All right. So we're probably all going to have different opinions on this, but what would you say and why is the best game for your first game?
I would say the best game if you're wanting to learn something easier than a 50-50 shot at something, I would say blackjack would be your best card game to learn. It's the one that most people know outside of the casino. It's easy to count to 21. Most people can count to 21. And yeah, the main game is just that one bet. Whereas say you go to roulette, yeah, you can bet 50-50 red-black, but everybody else is going to be playing numbers, and that's really where the fun is, and that's where you make your money.
Yeah. What about you, Jack?
Yeah, and I'm going to say the same thing as far as people coming up and they want to bet a game, and they've never been to a casino before, or has never been to a table games before. I say more people are apt to go to blackjack because it's simple. They know they want to get close to 21. There's obviously different variables to it. It's not necessarily just trying to get the closest 21. That's not necessarily the game, but they think that's a game, and I think we just want to go 21 because that's also another side name of the game is 21, whereas it's really blackjack. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'd say most people are overall. I think more people that are newcomers are more apt to gear towards blackjack.
For sure.
And also with don't mean to step on you, but with blackjack, the players, even like the more rude players, when they help you with a game, they're not telling you any wrong information about blackjack. If they tell you not to hit, if you have 15 and the dealer's showing a 6, they mean that. Don't hit. Because what you do in their head messes with their money. In their head.
Right.
But they're not going to tell you wrong. Whereas craps, they might tell you the wrong way to bet just because they're betting the other side of the dice.
Yeah. Well, I would I'm gonna push back on that. I think
good.
I think the best game for a beginner, for me, is baccarat.
I knew you were going to say that.
But see, again, but that goes back to my roulette thing. It's 50-50 unless you want to play all those bonus games. And for your first time at a casino, I wouldn't personally recommend playing any of the bonus games until you're comfortable with the game itself.
I would say 50-50 is perfect for a beginner. I think that's just a kind of a coin flip type of game.
Now I agree with you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to- I agree with you 80%.
Okay.
The only difference is blackjack is more of a higher minimum limit.
And you
Or
have...
not blackjack, excuse me, baccarat.
Sure.
There's more of a higher minimum limit.
So there is the affordability. So a lot of blackjack games start out at $25 or $50. If you can find, a $25 game and you're comfortable with $25 a hand, then I think that's the best way to go. One thing people don't think about a blackjack is those hands can get expensive kind of quick if you're splitting and doubling and that kind of thing. So $10 a hand might not be $10 a hand, depending on how the hands go.
Yeah, but in blackjack you have a little bit of control.
You do have control over
You
that.
don't have like control like you would want.
Sure.
But you get to say whether or not you hit. Whereas baccarat, whatever side you bet, it hits based on certain rules.
The other thing I was going to say about baccarat is your actions will never affect anybody else's game. So if you're the type of person that you don't want to upset people because you did something wrong or you hit or you stayed, and that is a big thing that does happen in blackjack, that cannot happen in baccarat. So you can kind of just go, on baccarat, you're going to play either player or banker, and you can just bet what the other people are betting and win and lose together, and you don't have to make any decisions. And I think, especially for newer players, that's usually enough excitement for people.
I'm going to segue into that, into saying it is your money. You're there to have your fun with your money. You shouldn't let anybody bully you into playing any certain way for your money.
But it is a big worry a lot of people have.
Yeah.
As far
Well,
as
I'm just...
upsetting the
I
other
get it.
people.
And we see it every day.
We do,
but I'm just saying, don't be that guy or that girl.
Well, sure.
No, that person.
Right. All right. So, also I would say, if I had to pick a second, I think roulette is pretty good, especially if you're just betting, if you just want to bet a 50-50 red-black, that kind of thing. That's a good way to start. And again, you're not going to generally be getting in other people's way or affecting their play at all. Just pick, red, black, even, odd, that kind of thing, and watch the ball spin and start winning. You have a good time. So
we're bringing up a good point too, though. Whereas really the only game in table games industry really is basically that does affect other people's hands is blackjack.
Mm-hmm.
So any other game that you do play, you're not really affecting anybody else with your bets and how you play and whatever, how much you want to bet and how much you want to raise or whatever, depending on what game you're on. So blackjack is the only one that has those kind of variables to it. But still, I think overall, it's what most, not amateur, but just newcomers are more geared towards. You know what I mean? Because it's more common, as opposed to baccarat. I mean, people know baccarat, but blackjack is just, it's blackjack. It's just known as, it's the first game people think of, in my opinion, when they think of table games.
Or roulette. Roulette is fairly intuitive.
Roulette, right.
As far as you put a bet on that bet, it's fairly descriptive on what's going to win and what's not.
I would say for a newbie, though, more roulette than baccarat. Just because you understand, not knowing anything about roulette or casinos, you understand that if the ball hits
on a
red number, that's what pays out is that red number. Whereas baccarat, you see this side has 6 and this side has 7. You don't understand why it's a barbecue and everybody's excited or mad. You don't get why.
For sure. Right. For sure.
There's a lot of hokey rules in baccarat.
There is. But also, just if that is the game you want to play, you don't have to know any of them.
Right.
To get great odds and have a good chance at winning at baccarat. So it is all automatic.
Nuh-uh. I see they can change card. They can change the number on the cards. I've seen them do it.
Oh,
They do this. I'm not going to destroy your card, Jacob. Don't worry.
Don't even
But
make me bring
Rub
up
it on
I've seen
the,
them-
if you rub it on the 10.
Yeah, you rub it on the 10, it'll be a-
It'll be a 10.
It'd be what do they call a monkey? Which means monarch. For those who didn't know,
Yeah.
it means monarch, which is a king, queen, jack. That's what I was taught in my class.
Yes.
And if you do this,
Yeah.
you can blow that middle pip off that 5 and turn it right into a 4.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I put an extra one on there. I blew too hard. But just know that you can change those cards by little things that you
Funny
do.
things that we see for sure. All right.
If you didn't have a decent deck of cards, I would totally do the roll. I had one guy rub it so hard the other day, he wore a hole right through the middle of my card. I'm like, well, it's not ripped in
We'll
half.
talk about that later when we talk about
Yeah.
Blackjack.
Yeah.
I digress. That's my middle name.
right.
Martin Digress.
So let's go through the games, how to buy in. So there are definitely different moments in the games you want to wait for to get your money in there to start playing. So what about blackjack, Martin?
I would say anytime you don't see any cards on the layout or in the dealer's hand is a good time to buy in. So like if the cards are over here off to the side in the little discard rack and there's nothing out here, that's a great time because people are still putting in their bets. But if you see this right here, don't throw your money on the table.
No.
Don't even sit down because blackjack players, all casino players are a little superstitious. Maybe a little stitious, but
I would say you could sit.
I would
could
sit down. Yeah, I would disagree with that.
And
yeah.
a safe way to do it is just to have your money right in
Because-
front of you.
I want to make sure I get my seat, as opposed to somebody coming in. Mother, I was waiting to sit here, I was being polite, whereas not everybody's polite at
Not
casino,
everybody is polite.
As in general life, you know what I mean? So, you ready to sit down, sit down. I'm staying, man. You got a 6 under there.
All right.
You're not supposed to do that. Dang it.
So
Yes.
yeah, so basically in any game, a safe thing to do would just put your money directly in front of you and wait for the dealer to kind of prompt you. But
Because there are certain blackjack games that you can't buy in until the whole shoe, which is all the decks put together, if you didn't know, until that is done. Not all of them are like that. Mainly it's just high limit, but there are certain rules like that.
yeah, there are also some blackjack players that would prefer you wait till the shoe is done.
Sure.
Or if they're on a heater,
Yeah,
they got a couple
or maybe
hands
wait till
in a
they
row.
lost a hand.
Yeah.
Because some players think that you'll change the cards, away from their winning streak if you buy in the middle of their winning streak. So they'll say, "Hey, wait till I lose a hand."
Which goes back to my point from earlier with, as insane as it sounds, blackjack players are trying to help you. Mainly it's to help themselves, but they are trying to help you learn the game.
They're trying to help themselves. Let's be realistic.
Yes, but if there's a side effect of somebody else learning the game, it works out.
That's a side effect. Exactly. That's a side effect. They're worried about you messing with their money. That's what they're doing. Let's be honest.
Did you know that there's a certain blue pill out there that is being sold for its side effect? And it makes more money than anything. You know about it. You use it. I'm just saying, sometimes a side effect can be a good thing.
Oh my Lord. But yeah, I would generally wait. Where you going with that, man? But anyway, I would generally wait. Yeah, any card game, when a dealer starts cleaning up the cards from that previous hand, that's when you put your money down.
Yep.
That'd be the best time. So that way, because some dealers are quicker than others, and if you wait till it's empty, they might already start. Boom! By the time you get your money out on the table, they might already be dealing in the next hand, depending on how quick the dealer is. So once the dealer starts swiping up the cards from the previous hand, that's when I put my money down. Right then.
Now, I have to bring this up since it's, the first time at a casino, if they buy into a craps table. What do they need to wait on for that?
There's going to be on any
don't have
craps
a puck,
table.
do ya?
There's going to be a puck.
Yeah.
I do. I should have
It's
brought
going to be
my
on both sides. It'll have on side, which is white, and a black side that is off. You want to wait for that puck to be off, to where the black is up. It says off.
Mm-hmm.
That is per etiquette, the time when you want to put any money on the table and start, getting your money and getting your bets in the action on the table.
Yeah.
I would say craps players are probably the most superstitious out of all the different types of players at a casino.
Yes, there's generally superstitions on any game,
but they got a lot of
players,
superstitions.
There are a multitude of different superstitions. We'll get into that in a different,
That'll be another one,
a different show altogether. But there's so many superstitions that people go by on craps that is definitely one of the bigger ones as far as buying in.
Yes,
you don't want to buy in on somebody's roll, and because it slows down the game. It gets the box man from having to take that money and pull it in while the shooter's trying to shoot the dice. You know what I mean? And it slows down their action. Then the base dealer's got to get out your money as well as paying and taking all the other bets. It just slows down the game considerably depending on how much you're buying in for. And it's just not good etiquette.
Yeah. There's a natural pause in the game when the puck is off, and so that's a good craps table will make sure everybody gets their chips if they're buying in at that time. So it disrupts the game the least amount if you wait for the off. All right. And then, so we've covered blackjack and craps. What about roulette? You guys don't deal with roulette.
I don't deal with roulette, but I know that there is typically lights on the roulette table. That's like their green light when you can bet, and then if you can't bet, it'll say on a screen, no more bets. But as far as like, if that stuff doesn't work, it's just a straight up wheel and a table, I'm not sure.
So the best time to buy in a roulette
table is clear, correct?
Immediately after the dealer unmarks the last number. So
you've seen those players on roulette, though. That table is hardly ever clear when there's more than 3 players on it.
But meaning the dealer has cleared all the bets, taking the dolly off, and the table pretty much is clear.
So,
right.
So when they spin the ball, they'll mark the number that hits, clear out all the chips that lost, pay the winners, and then while they're taking that marker off, immediately after that, that's the best time to buy in on roulette. If you already see the marker off, you see a lot of bets out there, and you try to buy in before the next spin, everybody's already bet. They're ready for that spin to happen. So while technically that is a time you can buy in, the most polite time, the best etiquette is to buy in right as the last number has been removed and been paid. Because you don't want everybody to be waiting on you, especially like on a really busy table. So just wait, let them spin it one more time, have them pay that out, and then as soon as they're removing the marker and you see people start to place bets, that's the best time to buy in on roulette. And then baccarat is probably the slowest paced game that we have, that any casino has. There's a lot of downtime in between hands. If you don't see everybody's bet out there or a bunch of bets out there, it's a good time to buy in. Like I said, there's a lot of downtime between games on baccarat, so that's probably the least where you'll have people upset based on your buy-in timing.
Yeah.
If they got to wait another 10 seconds for a hand, it's never killed a baccarat player.
Right.
So I wouldn't worry too much on baccarat.
I don't know how it goes at other casinos, but most of our players, they take a good 5 minutes to make all their bets anyway. Start with 30 on here, and then they take 5 off of that, put it over here, then they move that over underneath here, and it's like a complicated chess move.
All right. We've talked a little bit about the different etiquette for different games. Anything game specific you guys want to mention as far as just when you're playing?
Never say 7 around a craps table.
That's it,
Even if you're trying to be funny, never say, because I know your famous line is, the words I say have no effect on the dice.
Don't affect the dice.
Yeah, they don't affect the dice.
Yeah.
But I'm here to tell you. It seems like not every time, but almost every time somebody says 7, it rolls 7. Yeah. There's a great scene in the movie called The House with Will Ferrell. And he says 7 at a dice table, and in slow motion they go, "Why would you say that, you asshole?" And it's the most true, funniest craps scene I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah.
Way better than any other movie craps scene.
Well,
way better. Shut up, you're wrong.
So we mainly deal with craps. I would say even more important than that would be just be cognizant of what's happening in the game, especially on craps. Craps is very fast paced, so you never want your hands in there. I think that's even more important.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's start with craps. So craps specifically, there's a rhythm to that game. You know, when the dice roll, you have at least 5 free seconds usually to make your bets, but after that you really want to be cognizant of what's happening before you reach into the table.
And if you see those dice moving out of the center, then
and usually the dealers are good at announcing when
they're
the dice
supposed
are going
to be
out. They're supposed to.
They're supposed to announce.
It doesn't happen all the time, so
dice move or dice out, whatever they say in their stick call.
Yeah.
That varies per casino and per
dealer.
per group of dealers. You got
per
team of
dealer.
dealers, absolutely. Because you're gonna find dealers are none of them are the same. You're gonna find that out. You might have a good group that they're all pretty much the same way, and they'll give you guys time. But some are just ready to go, and they want to keep that rhythm going, and they're gonna send those dice, whether you're ready or not. So, like we said, it's a very fast-paced game.
Yeah, I would say craps is a fantastic game. If you want to, have that be your first game or one of your first games, I would say just learn 2 or 3 bets max, and only play those. So you don't, you're not having to keep track of too much stuff in a very short amount of time.
I think that's the hardest part about craps for new players is they look at the layout. Like this layout, for instance, doesn't even have half the stuff in the center that what we have, but you see all these different bets that you can make, and you start swimming in your head. You're like, oh, this is too confusing. When really all you want to worry about is one portion of it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. If you're trying to keep track of 5, 6, 7 bets, that's winning and losing, multiples of them, winning and losing on each roll. That's just going to be too much for almost every beginning player. So I would just start with 1 or 2 bets. Watch the dice roll, have some fun, kind of take in the atmosphere and just do that.
Yeah, as far as that goes, just like roulette, you have a certain number you like 6 or 8, bet a 6 or 8. You have 5 or 9, bet those 5 or 9. Bet a couple numbers. Don't get crazy. Don't get intimidated because the craps table, excuse me, there are a lot of bets on the table, and it can be very intimidating, very confusing. Like Jacob said, just worry about your bets that you have made. And if you want to know what the other bets are, if there are people around you who are friendly and or you have a dealer that's going to be friendlier on the friendlier side and also have time to be able to kind of explain to you, get the information there. Otherwise, you just go home and get the information on Casino Quest. I don't know.
I have a game called I don't know if we can drop product names or whatever, but I have a game. You don't use real money or anything like that, but they have craps on it, and you can learn a lot of bets on that.
What the bets pay.
Yeah,
what they pay when they do hit.
Well, just any free casino game for your phone. If you want to try certain games, I suggest getting one of those.
And we'll definitely do some simple strategy.
Yeah.
Right.
Type
never. We're never gonna teach you anything.
So
these are for show.
So we definitely got that coming down the pipeline. We'll be happy to get deeper into these games as we go along. But for now, just ask what are the most basic bets on the craps table, and just go with a couple of those. Roulette. I would say the biggest thing on roulette is just be aware of people move around the table. It's a big table. You can't reach all the bets. So if somebody wants to bet, something that's on the other side of the table. They might ask you for help on placing that bet. You can absolutely place bets for other people if they ask you to. And just, right at the beginning, there might be a flurry of movement, people walking past each other. Just try to help each other out, and then.
Now that's an entirely pretty much self-service game, right?
It is, yeah, and you'll see players asking the dealer to place some bets. Like if they're way down on the end of the table,
which a good dealer will help out
dealer.
players, set up bets and everything.
And they want to bet 1, 2, 3, or the zeros or something way on the other end of the table. Then you either have to pass checks to other people or. But there is that. Not everybody's just very stationary on roulette. That's kind of unique to that game.
It's like double dutch.
Yeah.
You just.
But that's basically the only thing you got to worry about on roulette. If you want to bet the exact same bet as somebody else, you just stack it on top. That's a little bit different on that game. You wouldn't see that on any other game. But like, say somebody's betting 6, straight up, and you also want to bet it, you just put your chips right on top.
Again, for you, just real quick, it's the second time you said it now. For you new people, new beginners who've never been on the table before, whenever we say checks, that means the chips. Okay, that's just a heads up. I didn't know, just in case you get confused with people with saying checks, because it's a term we use quite often. It's what we call chips or checks.
Yeah, and then specifically, it just means a chip that's redeemable for cash.
Correct.
Is what a check is. Let's see on baccarat. Baccarat's got a little bit of a weird culture to it, for sure. I think that's why a lot of people are hesitant to play that game.
I mean, it presents itself as a foreign game.
Yeah.
It's the only one that has the different language on it.
Yeah.
It
usually
eliminated.
Chinese.
Usually Chinese.
Yeah.
I didn't know I didn't want to say Chinese and it'd be Vietnamese. Yeah, I did not know.
It is Mandarin.
But a funny thing I always thought about baccarat is they eliminate the number 4 on the table because is it Chinese?
Yeah.
That the way you say 4, whatever, sounds like the word for death. So they just completely eliminate it. That's a superstition that outrules, I think, even the 7 on a dice table, is they completely eliminated a number from their game.
Yeah,
so that's the death number.
Every baccarat table you'll see the spots go 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8.
It's like the 13th floor on a skyscraper.
It is.
It doesn't exist. I love that.
You'll see a lot of baccarat tables where people will bet the same thing, even though you could bet. So there's 2 sides. There's player and banker. Those names don't really mean anything in particular. It's just kind of red and blue is what you could think of it as. A lot of times you'll see tables all bet with each other. So if you see that, if you want to join into that, you can just bet with the side table. So you're not the only one winning when everybody else is losing. That's about really the only thing.
I got to tell you a quick story about that right there. My first day ever dealing in a casino, I'm on baccarat, and it's a full table with people piggyback betting. So there's 13 people playing this game, and every single one of them are betting the same, with the exception of this one guy who wanted to be the solo act, and man, those guys berated him the whole night. Like, you're stupid, we're winners, you suck.
Yeah, even worse than you winning when everybody else is losing is the other way around.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody else is winning and you were losing.
Oh, man. Those guys cracked me.
The other kind of unique thing about baccarat is people that are standing behind you can bet what's called over the shoulder on that game.
Piggyback.
So, piggyback's different. It's right on top.
Well, I like that word too.
Oh, that's true. But say you're in spot 8, you'll have a lot of tables will have 2 spots for player and 2 spots for banker. One is for you and one is for potentially somebody standing behind you. They can reach over and bet in your quote-unquote spot. They don't even have to bet the same way you did. So they could bet player and you could bet banker, but there's just doubles the amount of people that could play. It's a little bit awkward the first time it happens to you, but but it does happen on that game, so it's just something to be aware of.
Yep.
And then anything unique to blackjack you guys can think of, etiquette wise?
I mean, I wouldn't say there's etiquette to blackjack. There's just certain rules that people want you to follow because it helps you out.
You're talking about more gameplay, though.
Yeah, right. It's more gameplay. It's less etiquette, but I don't know, the way blackjack players react, you would think it was etiquette.
Yeah. If you're
not supposed to hit that.
If you hear 4 groans when you like go for a hit or splitting tens or something like that, you probably shouldn't do that thing. You probably really usually you're way lessening your chances of winning if you do those kind of egregiously against basic strategy type of things. But like we said before, it is your money, but just don't expect people to react well to it, including the dealer. Even the dealers sometimes react to it. So if you just don't know, you can always ask. You can ask the dealer.
Absolutely.
You can ask the
dealer will always tell you.
The supervisor. At our house, the supervisor actually has the basic strategy on the computer. They can pull it up on the computer and tell you what the optimal play is for that particular hand if you don't know. Sometimes there are some rare hands that happen that you'll hear conflicting things, and you can just say, "Hey, can I ask the supervisor?" Or can I ask the dealer?
And speaking of the optimal play, as far as the what the book says, people love to say, well, the casino's made the book. Well, technically that's correct, but it is optimal play.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on if you have a feeling about a certain shoe, because you're not always going to win by playing optimal play, but if you follow it through and through, that is going to be your best chance at winning.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you may have a feeling on a certain shoe and a certain way the cards are going, regardless of card counting, if you want to try that, which I don't necessarily recommend it, but that's up to you.
Casinos don't like it.
No, they don't. Because that will if you get to a certain level and you are counting cards on a regular level and you are winning, you're not gonna be able to play there much longer. I promise you that.
And I actually just watched a documentary about a guy who that's his profession, he's a advantage blackjack player, and he came in through the Midwest. He hit his first stop. They caught on to who he was, and they had already sent word to all the surrounding casinos in that area, so he wasn't able to go through his little tear in that region. He had to go further on down the road.
Absolutely, because with technology anymore, they can know you within 30 seconds, 1,000 miles away. You know what I mean? You're not going to get away from it.
No.
So if it's really worth it to you, go for it. But you might not get any play anywhere near you from then on, and someone will be banning you for life, depending on what your level of play is and how much you're really trying to do it. But anyway, back to the book. The dealers, yes, we work for the casino, but when it comes down to it, we want you to win. Why do we want you to win? Because we work mostly off of tips. Yes, we do get paid by the casino, but
it typically covers taxes.
It
basically covers taxes. What the casino pays me covers my taxes.
So in the end, we want you to win. So that way, hopefully, you'll be, thankful for us, and you will tip us. I mean, and depending on the amounts, it may be a certain amount, maybe depending on how. But that's why a good dealer is always going to try to give you good service, regardless. But we're always going to give you good advice. I can't speak for all dealers because I can't speak for everybody in the world, obviously. But a good dealer is going to give you good advice, regardless of what you may think,
or at least what I think is good advice.
Sure.
I'm not going to steer you wrong on purpose. I'm going to, in my head, if I think it's a good idea, I might push you a certain way, and it might be completely wrong.
I mean, we're not.
But it's
we're
not out
magicians.
of malice. It's just because
we're
I'm
not
an idiot.
magicians. We can't control what the next card is going to be.
Well, no.
But yeah, we're going to try to steer you in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what? You're $10, $15, $20, $100, whatever you make that hand. It's not really going to hurt the casino because in the long run, casinos they're still going to make their money elsewhere if you win a hand or two. So it's not going to hurt them, but we're going to try to make sure you have fun and you do the best that you can to try to make your hand or try to make sure that you do the optimal thing in any given situation.
Yeah. As far as the dealers, whether they want the players to win or not, they definitely want the players to win. Winning players tip more than losing players. It's just the way
Most
it is.
of us. I'm not going to say you're not going to find a dealer but you can typically tell before you even walk up to that kind of dealer's table what their attitude's going to be, because they're the ones that are pouting already, and it's first thing in the morning. They have no players, not smiling. Everybody else is, having fun and has players. You want to look for that too when you're walking into your casino the first time. Is your dealer. What kind of attitude do they have?
But you might be surprised by how they react before you go to the table as opposed to when you're playing on a table. So it just depends. It might be pouty face.
Right.
Might be kind of, like
they might be pouty because
their
they're
dog
dead.
just died, whatever, But once you get going,
but still try to pick up on a little bit of that.
Sure.
If you can see them deal,
yeah.
and they still look like they're in a bad mood while dealing, and people's winning,
that's what I mean.
Try to stay away from, because bad energy ruins a lot. If anything, it ruins your good time.
Yeah.
I know you don't believe in energy and The Secret and anything like that. You're more black and white blueprint. Here's how it goes. I'm a big believer in what you put out into the universe. It comes back to you, and it's tenfold in a casino.
And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure you have a good time, because we know what we love. Like I think I can speak for all of us. We love our jobs. We love being there. We want to make sure you have a good time coming there. That's what you come there for, is entertainment. Mind you, some people do come to casino to make money, whatever. But just know that most of the times you're probably going to lose.
Yeah.
But you want to find those times where you do win, and you want to have a good time regardless. You know what I mean? That's why we said before at the beginning of the cast, don't go with more than what you can afford to lose.
Yep.
Just treat it as like you're going out to dinner and a movie. You know what I mean? You're going to spend. You plan on spending $100 or $200, or depending on what your bankroll is. Just set your limit for that night, and just know that good chance you might lose it. But regardless, we want you to have a good time. Even if you do lose it, we want to make sure you have fun and are there for a while and enjoy yourselves and have fun with the other people and the other dealers, and hopefully you'll come back regardless, win or lose.
And if you don't know what your particular limit is, just think about what you're going to tell your wife that you lost. Add $100 to that, and that's a pretty decent limit, right?
No comment.
Yeah, sorry, Mrs. Jack. Jack does not endorse the comments made by Martin.
No, yeah, we don't suggest keeping anything from your spouse or anybody else.
We would never suggest it.
Or your kids or whatever. Just
imply.
Again, regardless.
Never suggest.
Don't spend. Don't take with you more than you can afford to lose and still be comfortable. We don't want that. People think the casinos want to take all your money. No, they don't, because you know what? They take all your money, guess what? You're not going to come back.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. We want you to come back regardless, win or lose. We want you to be able to afford it and be able to come back still and try again next time. Try again the next week. Try again the next month, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. The casino wants you to come back. They don't want you to lose all your money. They don't want you to go bankrupt. They're going to be fine. You know what I mean? Because there's thousands of other players around there, the whole casino, that are going to be playing win or lose, and they're going to be fine. But they don't want you to ruin your life over it. You know what I mean? So just be cautious when you go to a casino with your money, please. We want you to come back regardless, but we want you to have a great time and hopefully come back to whoever goes to our casino, especially us. We want you to come back to our casino as opposed to other casinos, because especially if you're a great player and fun to be around, because like I said, we love our job. I love my job because I'm playing a game for a living with you, and I want everybody around me and as well as myself to have fun doing it, and that's why I love my job. That's it.
What other kinds of dealers might you come across? And I'll start with the one I'm most familiar with is new dealers. So if you go up to a table, you might get a brand new dealer. They're gonna be even more nervous than you are. So
yes.
Just be aware that can happen, especially if you are playing blackjack, because most dealers start on blackjack. So
yeah, most
dealers start on blackjack. We didn't, but most dealers do start on blackjack. So do be aware of that. They are incredibly nervous if it's their first week or whatever. So you got to be patient with them. That's probably, honestly, if you're a new player, that might be the best case scenario because you're not going to be looking for a fast-paced game necessarily.
Right.
You're not going to be dealing a fast-paced game. So, but yeah, you have any other type of dealer you might run into?
The dealer doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to run into that.
Just waiting to clock out before he even clocked in.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're not saying, steer clear of those dealers, but just know that that's what you're walking into. Yeah. I mean, that's going to happen at every place. People have things, we have a real life outside the casino. Sometimes it might be because of their home life or what they had going on that day or that month or that year or whatever, I'm saying we're all human. That's what you go for. That's what you go to. That's why you go to a table games as opposed to a slot machine of some sort or your phone, the casino games on your phone. You go for the personal experience of a dealer in real life. I mean, win or lose, good or bad, you go for that personal one-on-one experience with a live actual person. And just know that, you're not always going to get exactly what you expected because they're a real person, you know what I mean? And like I said, we all have things going on in our lives. Players obviously as well too, as well as dealers, But just know that any good dealer is going to want you and try to make sure you have a good time.
Yeah.
But
there are those dealers though that are like what's the name, Wallace Shawn from Vegas Vacation. There are dealers like that who just get off on taking all your money and changing $1,500.
Unfortunately, there are some dealers that are overly competitive.
Yes, there are some dealers that do that. Yeah.
But they're also
they treat their table like their own personal dojo.
Yeah. But there are also
I've been known to say
some dealers that are like cheerleaders. I mean,
yes.
We have some dealers that the party's always happening at their table.
Yes.
And,
If we could name some names on here, I'd shout y'all out because you're great.
Yeah.
You help us out.
Absolutely.
With our
Now, just know if you're at that table, it's probably not going to be the fastest paced game.
No.
But
it's going to be a fun game.
It's going to be fun. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fun. It's going to be memorable. It's going to make you want to come back.
Yep.
And come back to that specifically to that dealer, depending on if they're there that night. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're going to have dealers that are just more technical, more about the game, and they're not going to be as talkative. You're going to be a lot of dealers that are just deal the game, and they can be really great dealers, but they're not really talkative to engaging more with their players, which
you might like.
Which is exactly what you might like, depending on that's what I mean. Is depending on what you're going for. You know what I mean? Also, the players at the table, will kind of make a game too, depending on how they're interacting with each other, as well as the dealer. If the dealer's not really into it, the players can still be into it on their own. But if the dealer's, efficient, effective, and he deals a good, clean game, he or she, you may want that. You may just want that, and not necessarily want the personal not one-on-one, but the verbal communication back and forth with the dealer.
Yeah.
And then you got dealers that are very talkative, and it might be a slower paced game.
No, not me.
But they're still efficient at their job. They do their job, but hair on a slower slide, because they're like maybe peel the card out a little slower, like come on Ted, things like that. We might kind of just make it funner for the players as well. You know what I mean?
So find the dealer that fits your personality if you're going back to the same house, over and over again, and you'll have a good time.
Yeah.
Anything we should avoid doing at the table?
Avoid not tipping your dealers and your wait staff.
Well, we'll get to that next.
Well, but they need to learn it twice. Always avoid not tipping your dealers and your wait staff.
We'll talk about that. Okay, I thought of something. Okay, hygiene. Don't. Okay, first of all, what you're touching and what you're handling is other people are handling as well. Either 5 minutes down the line, have 5 minutes before you, 10 minutes before you, whatever. be respectful. Don't do things like pick your nose. Make sure you have clean hands when you go to the table. That's why all casinos have those sanitation, little hand sanitizer, little kiosks, whatever stations everywhere throughout. We also have bathrooms. Make sure you use those bathrooms. Make sure you wash your hands if you don't have a sanitation or hand sanitizer station nearby. But regardless, you go to the bathroom, wash your hands, please.
And any trash you bring to the table, just throw it away.
Or you can have the supervisor.
Or you can have somebody throw it, but make sure something happens with it.
You just brought up another good point. I just thought of, smoking. Some people, I'm a smoker myself, and when I go to a casino, I like to smoke, but I'm also, conscientious of the people around me. If I know a person beside me doesn't really like to smoke, or that kind of makes scoffs at me right away because I bring out my pack of cigarettes. If there's a spot further on down the line, depending on what type of player you are, and you don't mind where you're sitting at the table, I would go to that other side. So that way it's more comfortable for them as well. Because I'm not blowing it, I'm not trying to blow it in their face, but smoke lingers. You can't necessarily, direct where the smoke goes. So just be conscientious of the players around you. And sometimes if I want a cigarette, I would step up from the table and get away for maybe a hand or two and go smoke a cigarette if I really need to. Because like I said, I'm a smoker, but I'm not going to make the other people at the table feel uncomfortable. With it. You know what I mean?
If you're a non-smoker and you're worried about other people coming up, after you and start smoking, there are some casinos, and our house is one of them, where you can request that table be non-smoking. So just know that if that's one of the things keeping you away, try to find a empty or a table where nobody is smoking and ask if they mind if you make it non-smoking. And there are a decent amount of casinos that will do that for you.
And as we're talking about it, I was sitting there thinking about it. There are casinos that are actually non-smoking. So we're talking about the casinos that obviously allow smoking.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And if you are a smoker and you want to be more courteous, you could sit toward the end of the table, like on the last spot or the first spot. You could be on the corner of a table, so you can kind of take one step back, be fairly far away from people, while you're smoking, that kind of thing. Don't blow smoke right across the table, so I've had people blow so much smoke I can barely see the layout. So definitely.
See, this is where I'm old school. I'm not even a cigarette smoker anymore, but I'm like, damn it, this is America. If I'm gonna smoke myself, if I were you, I'd be way more aggressive about it.
Well,
if I were you, I'm like, no, this is a free country.
In the end, I'm a nice guy. I try to be courteous. I don't like people around me to be, kind of crappy towards me or just having to be in a crappy mood. I want us all to have fun.
Well, I don't want me to be in a crappy mood.
Sure, but I'm still I'm still gonna smoke. You know what I mean? So, because in the end, casinos, they're a place for vices. People like to smoke. They like to drink. They like to gamble, and that's in the end.
Man, if we only ran girls out of the building, we'd be all set.
but that's what I think of it as. And that's. Yeah, I like to be comfortable and do what I want to do because I'm an adult. You know what I mean? And this is America. That's one of the great things about America is we're free to do what we want to do for the most part, where we want to do it. You know what I mean? And like I said, casinos are it's an adult, for lack of better terms. Shut up. No disrespect to America, but shut up. We are a place for it's kind of like an adult Chuck E. Cheese. I've heard that so many times, and in a way, it's kind of right. Yeah. It's a place where we can go for our vices, and we don't have to worry about children, little kids that we kind of watch our mouths in. We could swear, we could say shit, damn it, whatever, all that other nonsense. Smoking, drinking, gambling. I just want to, that's what I go to casino because it's casual, it's fun. I'm able to be myself as opposed to not having to worry about kids being around and or people who are more uptight and they're not expecting that kind of stuff. Whereas as opposed to i.e. a church, you don't expect any of that stuff at a church. But you know what I mean? Casino is basically, for lack of better terms, the exact opposite of a church as far as what is.
No, it's just a different faction. That's all. Like church is American League, casino's National League. It's just. It's the other side of the coin.
Okay. It's different. That route with that.
It's just different side of the coin. It's somebody's religion.
Well, speaking of drinking, I was gonna say, don't spill your drink.
Don't spill your drinks, please.
That's a party foul.
At our house, we do have cup holders, and they're kind of recessed into the table. So you keep your drink in a cup holder. It's a lot harder to spill over.
Just remember that your drink is there, because I have seen people drop their checks into their drink.
Your drink.
They go, oh man.
And then don't throw the drink away with the check in there, because that's another thing altogether though too. Where they gotta go searching for that chip, because that chip has to be recovered.
Yeah. It sucks that you got to throw away the drink, but definitely don't throw away the chip.
Right.
So yeah, keep your drink in the cup holder. Another thing is phones. So at our house in particular, yeah, get that off the table. You're not allowed to have your phone on the table, especially while like cards are in action. A hand is going on.
You can't take pictures of the table either.
Well, that's definitely bigger. But those restrictions are loosening as time goes by. More casinos are being more phone friendly. But on games that we need to protect, as far as like from card counters, you're still going to see a lot of kind of tighter restrictions in those games. Whereas opposed to like craps and roulette, you can't really advantage play on those games. So you see a lot more casinos where those restrictions are much less, restrictive. I don't know what else to say. So just ask before you pull your phone out, am I allowed to have my phone out? Another big deal is do not take pictures or video at the tables without express permission. That is mainly a privacy issue. So for the privacy of the other players at the table and for the dealer, don't take any pictures or video unless you ask first. And like if it's somebody's birthday or somebody hits real big, just ask the floor supervisor, hey, what's the policy? Can I take a picture?
Well, if you hit real big, you'll get a picture with one of those big checks.
Well, they might ask you for a social media picture. You can turn that down, or you can let them, do social media for the casino. That's totally up to you. I know the last time somebody hit a jackpot, we let them just take a picture of the checks, just so that nobody else was in the picture. But just ask if you do want to take a picture, because there are exciting moments, and we get it. So we'll ask what the policy is first, and then go from there.
And like Jacob said, it's more of a privacy issue. I mean, not everybody wants everybody and their mother knowing that they're going to a casino at this date and time. You know what I mean? It's again, that's part of being an adult. Just if they don't want that, they're fully within their rights to not have everybody, Joe Schmo or whoever else down the street, know that they're going to a casino this often or whatever. That's their own privacy. It's their own, it's their own time. We're gonna do our absolute 100% best to make sure that their privacy is upheld, and that's why casinos do not allow that, as opposed to people on slots and stuff, where it's a different animal altogether. But yeah.
I also want to say during this list of things not to do is don't be afraid to do one thing wrong and be kicked out of the casino. That's not. I like to say we don't tell you the rules until you break them, because we have a ton of rules and they're not posted anywhere. So you're never going to get in trouble for breaking a rule once. But obviously, if you get told to not do something and then you keep doing it,
that's when you get in trouble. Yes, when you have been told multiple times about one certain thing.
So don't be super nervous about doing anything, but just, once you get told, hey, make sure you're doing this or not doing that, then you keep that in mind once you're told, and you won't have any problems. All right. Anything else you guys to add?
No. I think we covered.
Yeah, I think
for this first one.
Yeah. Good job, guys.
Yeah, way to go. I'm proud of us.
Well, I want to thank anybody who's watched and, of course, still watching at this point in time. Thank you for watching the whole podcast. And one person I want to shout out is our artist. So we don't have a logo yet, but we'll definitely have a logo on this episode. when it goes live. And so I want to shout out our artist, Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
Hi.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thanks, H2O.
We will get, if anybody's interested, likes the logo, interested in her work, we will post her stuff in the description and give her credit for that. But thank you so much. And yeah, anything else, guys?
I got a tagline I want to try.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Well, the time on the dice say 7 out. I'm Martin.
I'm Jack.
I'm Jake.
Later.
We'll try to do better next time.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
How are we going to get through this?
A lot of editing. All right. A lot of editing.
All right.